Isn't the small chainring gonna make it harder for you to stay at a higher average speed?
Stay at a higher average speed? Yes and no, because the small chainring may be a problem, but this makes up for it.
Okay, welcome back to another video, guys. Today I'm here with Aaron, and Aaron has this SL7 Specialized, not the Nestworks. Aaron, thank you for coming after your ride, man.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Yeah. Could you just tell us about your bike and very interesting setup, which I'll hear from you.
Yeah, okay, so thanks for having me on. I'm actually here with my SL7 Pro, which I got last year. And although I actually kind of really started focusing on road cycling last year, but I actually started cycling way early on, like more than a decade ago when I was in university. So back then I was mainly mountain biking, and one of my friends was also into road cycling. So that's when I got my first road bike. As a poor student, I had to source things second-hand from to-go parts.
Yeah.
So the Groupset was second-hand, the rims were second-hand. And I think in the past couple of years ago, they used to have those warehouse sale where people would queue up overnight for bargain discounts. So that's why I bought my first frame. It was an Avanti Cadence, I think. It was Avanti Cadence something, I forgot what was the model, but I got it for $600. So that's my first road bike. So I rode it for about a year until we had an accident.
Oh, okay.
Around Faber. So we were going down. There was a car. My friend didn't see. Almost hit the car, didn't, but ended up with a mild concussion. After that, we just got scared of road cycling. So we just stopped.
Wow.
And that was the last time I road cycled for a decade.
Okay.
So I just continued mountain biking though. So I kept mountain biking, and yeah, so just continued on, going and started working. And my mountain bike was sort of started not touching again because of work and family life. So after COVID started, I realized, hey, I'm getting fat again. I need to do something about my weight. So that was when I felt that, okay, I better start cycling again. So I went back to my old dealer, Tiong Hin, bought a pivot mountain bike, and yeah, so I rebuilt my mountain bike, started cycling again.
Right.
So this was around last year, 2020. About that point of time, my other group of friends that I'm with in for another hobby, they started wanting to lose weight as well. So they started cycling. Our first initial plan was to just cycle casually, PCN, but things like this normally doesn't last long. So we started going faster, started buying road bikes, bought a Decathlon Tri-Band, and then realized, hey, feel like upgrading, the bugs started coming in. That was when I bought my first road bike last year. Second road bike if you think about it. It was a TCR, I think it was a TCR with 105 group setting. So I used that for a while. I was very happy with it. Until I went back to my old dealer at Tiong Hin. He saw the bike, he was, hey bro, I have a white bicycle for you. You want to consider? I was thinking, okay lah. So yeah, so I just waited. But I wasn't very serious about it because to me that sum of investment was not a small sum. I mean, I already threw down around 3,500 for the bike. It was not a small sum already. So after I talked to him about it, after he calculated the cost of it, the cost to upgrade the wheels, cost to upgrade the steerer, handlebar, everything, it was around $1,000 to $2,000 different from just buying this bike directly retail price. So yeah.
Okay. Are you still a mountain biker?
I still do both.
Okay.
But the problem now is that because of my new addition to my family, I haven't been able to mountain bike much because of the time. Because my friends that I normally bike with at a time that I can't go out due to my responsibilities at home. So even though I still love my mountain biking primarily, I'm actually spending more time on my road bike now.
Right.
Yeah, so my mountain bike is really for me to go play around the neighborhood once in a while.
Actually, we share a lot of similarities. I started off mountain biking as well, and then I got into road biking, and I've never touched the mountain bike, which I plan to get back into mountain biking. But the problem is the maintenance, man, of a mountain bike.
Yes,
like
yeah.
the grit that gets into cassette and everything, it sharpens the teeth, and then
yes,
unlike a road bike, you spend a bit more on the high end first capital, and then after that
you're done.
Yeah, I don't know if you're done. Most people tend to upgrade things, yeah, so more
I'm hoping I'm done with this. I'm hoping I'm done.
Right. So more on your bike, you have a interesting setup. It's a one bike system. You got mountain bike cleats. Could you tell us more about this entire bike?
So first and foremost, the whole bike is more or less stock because this is a 2020 Tarmac Pro. Compared to the Tarmac SL7 Expert, which comes in a Di2 2x system. The Pro gives you a power meter. The Di2 one does not. And to me, most importantly, the Pro came in white. The Expert came in blue, I think it was dark blue. So that to me was a no. Like, I really wanted a white bicycle. After years of owning a grey color bicycle, my TCR was a black bicycle. My current mountain bike, my Switchblade, is a blue bicycle. I really wanted a white bicycle for at least once in my life. So it was either this or the lower end Tarmac competition, the rival version. But the rival was just impossible to get because I think the price point was at that very sweet spot. So everyone wanted the Tarmac competition. So which left me with this.
And you got this directly from Specialized Singapore?
No, I got this from Tiong Hin.
Tiong Hin? Are they the Specialized distributor or?
They are one of the distributor.
Okay.
Yep. So they distribute mountain bike, but I think because as part of their deal, they are able to get in road bikes as well.
Okay. The question is, okay, maybe more on the setup first before I go on. So this is a SRAM Force.
It's a SRAM Force, yes.
1x. Did it come with a 1x setup or was this?
It came stock. So the whole bike is stock except for the saddle and the tires. I've not changed anything on this bicycle at all. So even the 1x was stock. I think they're trying to cut costs by keeping to the price point. So instead of offering you the front derailleur and extra chainring, they give you a power meter to sweeten the deal. So initially at first I thought down the road I will get a 2x system. But somehow the more I pedaled, the more reluctant I was to change it because I think I just got lazy to change it.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself the cost of, because if I were to change this to a 2x system, I need to pay for the cost of a derailleur. I need to pay for the cost of a new chainring. I'll need to change the cassette because this is a 1036. Most road bikes go until 1022, is it?
Yeah.
1022?
Yeah.
So the investment for me to rechange everything to a 2x system would be at least 1,000 plus a power meter change. So I decided, based on the cost to return ratio, I think I'll just stick to this. If I'm slow on the road, I'll just cycle harder.
And is the gear ratio enough for you?
Okay, the range or the extreme end of ratio from the lowest end to the biggest cork, yes, it's enough. The problem, however, is I'm trying to maintain cadence. So for example, along Mandai, if I'm going at around 35, 36, and there's a hill, the moment I drop my gear, the gap of cadence for me can go from 90 and I can suddenly drop all the way to 85 or even 86. I can't maintain the same cadence because of the difference in the gear ratio. So I think that is the main problem with 1x system. It's not something you can get around. I mean, I could get fitter. I know I'm not the most fit, I'm not the fittest cyclist around. But I guess if I work harder, I get fitter, I can probably get around the limitation, but the physical limitation is still there. So for cyclists who really want to maintain a perfect cadence, probably the 1x is not the best way to go.
Right. And let's talk about geometry. This is a size 49.
Yep.
What is your height?
I'm 161.
161.
Yeah.
But you have a very long crank though.
It's a 165.
Oh, this is 165?
This is a 165. It only looks long because of this.
Yeah, I thought it was like a 172.5.
No, it's a 165. So
Right.
this is the battery cover. It makes it look very long because of that.
So how do you find a 165? I use a 165 crank coming from a 170, 172.5, and I find that obviously my cadence has jumped and spiked. But then again, you look at me, I can't power much, so I'm more of a cadence guy.
You're much taller than me, so your legs are significantly longer.
Yeah. So do you prefer a 165, and why a 165?
Okay, so I feel that's one of those things that unless you've tried it, you wouldn't know. So my first bike, my TCR, or rather my first serious cycling road bike that I can remember in recent times would be my TCR. It came in for 170. Back then to me, everything felt perfect. I went for bike fit, the 170 felt good. Then I got this bike last year in August. It was a 165. It took a while to get used to it. I went for bike fit and it felt good again. So recently I bought a trainer at home because of the weather and stuff, and I kind of wanted to spend more time at home, but I still don't want to miss out on the cycling. My trainer bike was a Decathlon, the cheapest bike I could find. It comes with a 170. The moment I got it, I could feel the immediate difference. It felt, for example, the cadence felt a lot different. Even the posture felt different. And personally, I feel that for me, my way of cycling, what I'm used to, I prefer the 165.
I guess it's not for everyone, right? You got to see what kind of rider are you.
And what do you want to do? So I guess if you like the power mesh, you like to stand up on the pedal and really crank it out, I guess 170 will be better for the ratio.
Yeah.
The leverage ratio, but you like to sit down, spin,
Yeah.
mix and match. You got to see what you want.
Yeah, actually that's true, because when I was using a 172.5, I found the leverage really good. Like especially when I was standing up and trying to power down, the leverage is much better.
It makes it easier to put down strength.
Yeah, because being a very short crank like my 165, I tend to be more on the sit and I like pedal like a hamster. Okay, so that's on that. And then next one is the highlight, the mountain bike cleats.
Yes.
Why mountain bike cleats?
Why mountain bike? I think I would like to say this because I mountain bike primarily last time, so I went to a mountain bike. But the main thing is actually because my first fall along, many years ago, like when I first started mountain biking, road cycling, I was on a normal road bike cleats. My first fall is because I couldn't unclip in time. So after that, I was kind of hesitant on going back to road bike cleats. And so when I got this, I was thinking I'll use this for the time being, get used to cleats again, because mountain bike I don't use cleats, I use flats. So I thought I'd use this for the time being, get used to it. Then down the road, I'll switch back to normal road cleats again. However, along places like PCN, Red Bridge, there was an incident where this kid just suddenly ran across the bridge directly in front of me, didn't look behind. I'm very sure that if I was on mountain bike cleats, I would have fallen off, because instinctively I just pulled out.
So you say that mountain bike cleats easier to pull out compared to
It's a lot
road?
easier to pull because I'm using the multi-release.
Oh.
So I could just directly yank it out.
Right. That's the whole point of mountain bike cleats, right? Because if you were to fall in the trails, you just push out.
Yes, correct. So I think it's for the safety aspect. So I'm kind of staying on this for now for the safety aspect. And also, I keep going back to the cost. Like, after spending the money on these set of cleats and the shoes, I realized I find that I'm not losing that much compared to the past. Even if I go to road bikes cleats again, I'm not sure if I were to lose anything. I mean, I'm sure that there'll be some people who feel that road bike cleats gives you more power transfer. It gives you that contact point of the bicycle. But at my level of cycling, I'm not trying to sprint for some crit. I'm not trying to push for 45, 50 constant. I'm quite happy where I am at the moment. And plus my shoe, I think this is the second stiffest one. It's just below S-Works. So I feel that the stiffness it offers should be enough to make up for the rather small contact area. So that's why I'm on mountain bike cleats for the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
Onto the frame now. Why a Specialized and not S-Works?
Okay, why Specialized and not S-Works?
And what's the difference?
Okay, on paper they claim it's lighter. The stiffness is the same. So, but I've never ridden S-Works. It's not something that I can reasonably spend now given my family.
Okay.
Yeah, I
so
gotta
it's
take
a
care of
cost
my kids.
issue.
It's partially a cost. I mean, I would like an S-Works.
What's the price
I would
difference?
Like one. I frankly have no idea because I believe the price difference, if this frame comes around 5,000, the S-Works is around 8,000, 7, 8,
significantly more expensive.
It's more expensive, and if I were to spend that amount of money on it, I would rather, this is my personal view, I'd rather go for, maybe I'm biased, but maybe I'll go for a Dogma. I'll go for a Factor. Yeah, so if I'm going to go there, I might as well go all the way. So the Specialized is an awesome bike. It is better than me in so many ways. It's beyond me, beyond what I can do in so many ways.
Right.
So, but if I wanted to push a next step, it's more for a sensation of I just want a really good bike. I want that bike to be just very happy about. At the moment, I'm satisfied with this.
Right.
I'm very happy with it. So, at the moment, I don't have any intentions to go to S-Works. Maybe next year they came out with a Venge version of, like maybe a Revenge or something, like SL8 Venge version, whatever. And the looks of it has that sleek, aggressive look. I may consider S-Works. But for me now, given the tamer look on SL7, I felt that I'm very happy with Specialized.
And this is a Fact 11 or?
I have no idea, let me see.
Probably a 11, and I think the S-Works
I think it's a lower model, Fact 10.
Oh, Fact 10.
It's a Fact 10.
Okay. So then the S-Works is 11, is that how it works?
I think it's 12.
11, okay.
Yeah.
Right. So even when I bought my Specialized SL6, I didn't go for the S-Works mainly because of price, right? You pay so much more. And I think, I mean, obviously, maybe they say the carbon layer, blah, 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 the stiffness and all those shit, right? It's down to the price for me, man. Like,
yes,
you
I
pay
agree.
such a premium just for the S-Works and, not for me. SL7, I know I'm probably going to get roasted for saying this. Personally, I don't really like it because it's a hybrid between an aero frame and a climbing bike all-rounder, right?
It's like the middle of nowhere, is it in a sense?
Yeah, that's just my personal opinion. Do you think bikes should just stick to being aero and being a all-round bike, or should they be mixing it? Because even if you look like the Dogma, right, it's a hybrid.
Okay, I think that it really depends on the person. So if a person is As in, if he wants a specialized bike, specialized not in terms of specialized, but one for each category, and is willing to own multiple bikes, then I think that's the route you should go. But for some people, like in my case, I have to maintain both a mountain bike, which I hopefully want to go back to in the near future, and a road bike. I don't have an infinite amount of space in my house.
Yeah.
All I have is a small little 5-meter space to hang my bike on the wall. So the number of bikes I can hang on the wall, or the number of bikes I can own, is limited by the amount of space my wife gives me to hang. So I'm not in a career that pays me like millions of dollars a month. I'm just a normal person. So in a sense, for me, a multitask bike suits my purpose because I can do anything. And if I want to go faster, I'll spend more time on my trainer doing FTP trials.
Yeah.
So yeah, so my gut feeling is that I think an all-round bicycle would be good for people who wish to have a bicycle. It's kind of self-explanatory, but they can do everything. If you really want a specialized bicycle in terms of one for time trials, one for aero, one for climbing, then you must be prepared to spend the amount of space and money.
Yeah, that's true.
Which would be awesome. I mean, you can really get the best of all worlds.
Yeah.
Because this, I agree, you can never have the extreme aeroness of Avenge or even the A-Road, is it?
Yeah.
The A-Road. But you'll never have the climbing capabilities of my ethos for that matter. But at the very least, I can keep up with the people in the front.
That's true.
Which I think for me is enough at the moment.
Yeah, so back to your point, right? I think that's 100% valid. Even for me, because now that we are in Singapore, I'm in Singapore, it's all flats. The only climbs I can go is Sentosa,
Faber.
So, and because I got an aero bike, I cannot climb anymore because my bike is way too heavy, it's too aero. I suffer, maybe I'm just too weak. So I just do TMCR every other day.
No, I think it's really training. Like one of the guys I know, he rides a TT bike. He climbs faster than me on SY.
Oh shit.
It's scary. So every time I look at it, I feel to myself, what am I doing?
So it's not the bike.
It's not, okay, I cannot say it's not the bike because that will be demeaning the efforts of the engineers to spend hours and hours designing a bike. But I think that for most cyclists in Singapore, the limiting factor is actually our fitness. Yeah. I'm not fit. I'm not fit.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I don't want to say it's not the bike either because I think the bike does benefit. From my TCR to here, I've seen my speeds jump by, I was doing, like before this I was doing 26, 27 along TMCR in August. Now my TMCR is around 32, 33, even without anyone pulling. So yeah, and that's like casual effort also. So I guess it's, the bike does contribute. Or maybe it's the wheels, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It could be the wheels, I really have no idea about that.
And these are Roval Rapid CL.
Yeah, it's a stock Roval Rapid CL. It's one level lower than the CLX.
Okay.
They basically cheated out on the spokes.
These are 40s?
No, they are 50 and 51. I was it 54 and 61.
Okay.
It's a mix step.
How do you like this?
I love it.
Yeah.
The only problem for me is that it's not tubeless. I think that in 2020 or 2022 for that matter, even if you are not a fan of tubeless, the bike should come able, especially at the price point. I mean, it's 12.8k. It should be tubeless ready. It should be lah.
So this bike is 12.8k.
Yeah, it's 12.8k.
Can I mention that?
Go on. It's 12.8k. I mean, it's on the website. It's literally on the website. Yeah, so I think at this price point, Specialized should have at least offered a wheel that was tubeless. But to be fair, even their top end wheel is not tubeless either. As in, they literally just say we can't make it tubeless, which I have no idea what to make of it, but that's just how it is.
Yeah.
So yeah. So anyway, the bike is pretty much stock. Everything I have on it is standard, except I changed the tires to turbo cotton. That's about the main change. I did it because I wanted the 28 tire that was more comfortable. People have said latex is, so within the non-tubeless world, they say latex is comfortable. So I changed it to latex tubing, turbo cotton for the nice soft plush feel. 20mm, feels good.
Right.
A lot better than what I expected.
Yeah, and the review of these wheels, you satisfied with it?
Very satisfied. I haven't gotten any punctures so far, touch wood. So far, no punctures, thankfully for now.
Okay.
Although they do say that the 28 is a lot tougher. But I guess between 28 and 26, there's the rolling resistance. Yeah. Although, I think it's just fitness. Yeah. If I really feel it's more difficult, I'll just pedal harder.
Right.
The setup, sorry, you're saying?
No, you had anything else to talk about?
So yeah, most of my stuff on it is really just the basic necessities. There's a spare tire, spare tube in my saddle, first aid kit, radar, Garmin radar for safety when I'm cycling at night, a camera, hopefully never have to use it in my life, and just a front light. So my front light is a Bontrager ANT Plus light. So I use this for day cycling because it's small. When I go out at night, I switch it over to the Bontrager Pro light. It's the large 1000 lumen flashlight. So all I have to do is just unscrew it, flip it down, and change the light to the floodlight.
Right.
So that's the main things.
Why do you change to a power mirror?
Why did I change the power mirror? Okay, so the power mirror, I have to blame one of my friends in the cycling group. He was the first one that brought it up. Apparently, he went to T3 Binjai, poked it and said, my God, guys, this is the most amazing thing ever. So at first, we didn't quite believe him because, my goodness, 675 for a pair of saddles is ridiculous. But the more he talked about it, the more we started thinking about it. And I asked him, can you help me get one?
Any regrets? Or is it really comfortable?
I love the feel of it. It is, okay, I have the non-power mirror version. Because this bike came with the power version, the non-mirror one, I put it on my mountain bike. Because no, I'm not using this on the mountain bike, it's no, just no. So I recently used my mountain bike, exact same clothes I'm wearing, to just cycle around the neighborhood. I immediately felt the difference. So there is a substantial difference between this and the mirror version. Although, to be fair, the price is a bit hard to swallow. I mean, 675 is ridiculous. Let's be frank. Let's be honest, it's ridiculous for a mount saddle, but I see this as an investment I can take to my next bicycle. Hopefully it doesn't die within the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
If it can last me for 5 to 6 years, before or rather after I change this bicycle, I'll be happy with it.
So I spend a lot of money in terms of comfort, but I just don't agree on the power mirror. Like even I spend like $500 on my shoes, man. But the thing about this that I'm skeptical or I'm not willing to splurge on is the longevity of it. I mean,
Yes,
if I'm going to be
that's
paying
an issue.
$600, I want it to last for 5 years plus.
Correct.
Because this is a power mirror, it's a bit, I don't know what kind of technology, it's very, very new. I'm just afraid over time, will it
becomes
compress?
squishier, right?
Yeah, it's like
Correct.
a sofa, right? You sit on it for 10, 20 years, it just compresses. The springs no longer work. I mean, obviously there's no spring here. So that's why, do you think this will last and will it compress?
So that's why I mentioned just now, as in I hope it'll last me for 5 years. I hope. I do not know. And I don't think there's many people in the world who knows whether it'll last for 5 years because first, they probably don't ride it. It hasn't been ridden for 5 years yet.
Then again, most people's bikes don't even last for 5 years.
Yes.
Until they switch to the next
and
one.
they switch to a new one. So, and they probably buy a new saddle again.
Yeah.
And Specialized is smart. Before this thing can last for 5 years, they tell you, oh, we're going to release a Roman saddle. So time to upgrade again.
Just
so
like an iPhone.
So before you can test the longevity of it, they make you buy a new one.
Yeah.
So I hope it lasts. It's not a small investment. But even if it doesn't last, I have a feeling I'll end up buying the same saddle again. Because I kind of don't want to go back to the expert again, given what I've already experienced.
Yeah.
It eliminates a lot of the road bars.
Right.
A lot.
What is the weight of the bike?
I frankly have no idea.
Random guess. I know I'm going to flash it, but just guess.
They say on paper it's 7.2.
Wow, light.
That's what they say. I mean, given they've taken away one derailleur, one chainring, it should be light. But in reality, is it really 7.2? I frankly have no idea. I suspect it's probably around 7.5.
Yeah.
Given when I throw on my water bottles, I throw on all this saddle pack and everything, it's around 8 point something, close to 9.
Yeah, so later when we weigh, it's just going to be like that, just for people's reference, because sometimes when I flash it, people ask, hey, why so heavy suddenly? Okay, so last question I always ask is, what do you not like about the bike?
What do I not like about it? I think the only thing I really don't like about it is the fact that when I first bought this bike, I thought that giant bikes were common. Now that I have this bicycle, I think Specialized bikes are too common.
It's always the case, right? Like, for example, you buy a car, you don't normally see this, and then suddenly when you're driving the car, everyone has the same car.
bike. So I'm like, why are all you people on the same bicycles? But I'm quite sure if I were to change bicycle, maybe one day to a Factor, Pinarello, it's not because I want a better bike. I just want something more special. By the time I'll probably look around and say, why does everyone have a Dogma?
Maybe the reason why, it's because it's good. That's why everyone's buying it.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Given the money we spend on bicycles, we want it to be good.
Yeah.
But in terms of performance, really the only thing I would improve upon it or change it is really just a 2x system. Other than that, it's been perfect. Tubeless I already talked about it, but I think the 2x system is something that is very useful.
Okay.
I can live with it. I don't foresee myself changing it anytime soon because of the cost.
Yep.
But I can live with this and I'll just pedal harder.
Okay. Cool. Anything else you want to top up before I move on to the next part?
Probably like Specialized going. I don't know why they're so expensive now.
Okay, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I thought recently the price went up to 13.8k.
For this?
Yeah, for this. The price
And
went up
you bought
again.
this how long ago?
I just bought this last year.
Which one?
The same model, the same Pro model. They bumped up the price to 13.8k.
What the hell?
Yeah. In fact, I think it was on GC Performance. They were talking about the price jump again. It just jumped. Okay, to be fair, they give you one more derailleur and chainring, but they charge you $1,000 more to give you one front derailleur and one extra chainring. Not even a whole chain, it's just one chainring, and they charge you $1,000 more.
I know you've ridden or you started cycling some time ago, so did I. And at that time, right, I feel so special riding a road bike. Like nobody was cycling, and then now when everyone is cycling,
Yes.
even though they don't know shit about their bike, they have like SL7 dogmas and like wow.
But that's a good thing in a sense because it means more people are taking up the sport, and hopefully that means the government infrastructure will be more catered to the cyclists. It's slowly coming in. I mean, you have the new Changi Park connector, the TMCR. These didn't exist in the past.
But we don't ride on park connectors.
We don't. But as TMCR, we never had that in the past.
Yeah. But okay, I'm a very pessimist, so I look at the downside is that we clash with other road users. For example, cars.
Yes, always.
So now there's the influx of cyclists. When you go on the road, like you just said, you came back from Mandai, there's so many cyclists there.
Correct.
I bet 5 years ago probably there were no cyclists. I mean there were a couple.
There were a couple.
One or two.
Longhouse was so crowded in the past at 6 a.m.
Okay.
The
But
old
now
Longhouse.
it's like probably like a 200% increase in riders.
It's like a gathering center for people. Thankfully, they'll safe distancing.
Yeah,
I must say that.
yeah.
Very important. But I think that there's a lot more cyclists now. People of all ages are coming. All fitness levels are coming in, which can be, I guess, I admit, it's a bit frustrating for other road users, especially if you see some bunch of road cyclists, 20 of them. They may be 5 and 5, but if they are going at like 20 km per hour, it's not very nice for the cars behind.
Yeah.
That I can understand. So I guess that's why PCNs exist.
Yeah.
But as a road biker, even if you're not at that level of fitness, you may want to feel that I want to cycle on the road. And then that's where the tension comes in.
And
It's
also,
hard to get around it.
Yeah, and coming back to price, right? Bike prices are just skyrocketed, man. Like seriously, everything is so expensive. So
Because they can.
yeah, they know
Because
there
they
is a demand, so why not? Okay, so Instagram Q&A, you guys want to ask your questions, you can
Gosh,
follow
okay,
me on
let's go.
Instagram. Okay, I need to let my music play a bit first.
Sure.
Okay, so so many questions. Aaron, are you ready?
Yeah, sure. Let's go.
You have Camelback bottles. The question is, why not an Aero bottle cage?
Why
like
not an
Super
aero
Cas?
bottle cage? Because the rider is not aero. I think that's the best answer because for me, a lot of these minor gain, or what I shouldn't say minor, I mean they do matter to people. But for me, I think the biggest factor holding this bicycle back is not the bicycle, it's the rider. I'm nowhere pushing 400 FTP. I'm nowhere near that.
Yeah.
And my body is not aero.
Right.
So yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I think aero bottle cages look funny unless you have a like super aero bike, like a TT bike. Then I think it looks aesthetically nicer. But in terms of performance, how much can you save, man? It's just a bit of bulging out here.
Correct. And it's the quantity of water.
Yeah.
Like at least I like to go for my rides knowing that I have ample or more than ample water. At least I don't need to stop at the Shell station and pay them $2 for one bottle of Dasani. I'd rather carry the water myself, even if it means I'm slower than other people.
Yeah.
If I'm slower, it's not the bike, it's me.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why it's not an aero bottle cage.
Will you get an OSPW?
Would I get OSPW? If I can find one day that there is a study that tells me officially that OSPWs do give me an extra 5 watts, I will.
There are studies, right?
There are
do
studies,
say-
but it's always inconclusive because there's always other confounding factors such as the aerodynamics. Yes, maybe the larger circumference allows the cassette to the jockey to spin less, therefore you save some watts. But because of the size of it, you are losing aero, you are being affected by the wind more. So it's always a give and take. There is no clear study that shows OSPW actually gives you more speed. But I admit they look sexy as heck. Yeah, so I probably won't go OSPW anytime soon. So probably not unless I know for sure that it gives me 5 watts.
Yeah.
5 watts is a number I've saved 5 watts, but there's no clear study for that yet.
Here's the thing, you spend 1,000 on the OSPW, let's say the highest end OSPW, which I think is ceramic speed. With that, right, let's say if you really spend 1,000, do you think you cycle yourself to think, hey, wow, I'm actually faster, man. It saves me 5 watts.
Okay. I think that $1,000, okay, I recently spent about 1,400 on the trainer system, Decathlon bike, plus affordable smart trainer. I think that will give me more watts than one OSPW. That's my feeling because I can go on the trainer road. It gives me the structured training. That would give me way more watts than a small device there. But this is a free watt, I agree. But for $1,000 investment, I'd rather do a smart trainer at home. Although to be fair, I think most people have an OSPW already have a training system at home. They probably have an S-Works on their trainer. They probably have one. I don't have an S-Works on my main bike.
Okay.
So yeah.
Next thing is, why the need for so many things on your bike?
Why the need for so many things? Okay, so this is a rear-facing camera for hopefully the day that I have to use it never comes.
Yeah.
This is when I carry my first aid kit inside. So I have a tubeless, so rather I have a puncture kit inside. I have a disinfectant, stuff to clean up any most accidents that happen, painkillers, anything. Because as a mountain biker, we carry things along with us. And I personally, coming to road cycling, I don't feel safe without at least some first aid kit. And to be fair, I've used that a couple of times. Thankfully, not for myself so far.
Yeah.
Like I've seen people fall down on the side of the road. I think there was a kid the other day who was, I was meeting my friend along Yishun. Someone fell down, large scrape on the knee. At least I could stop by and help him out.
Yeah.
So I think it's for this purpose that I like to carry a first aid kit, even if it's not for myself. I can at least help someone else.
Thank you. Thanks for helping out people, who you are the ambulance.
It's at the same
road.
time. No, it's at the same time.
Okay, is it true that there are a lot of shifting problems with SRAM eTap? Oh no, sorry, I cannot ask this question because there's no front derailleur.
Oh yes.
Okay, never mind, invalid.
But I think I know what you're talking about, because some people say that the derailleur shifting for the front is a bit slower, given that it takes some time for the shifter to recognize, is it a long shift for the derailleur or is it a shift for the ready? So it's not really a shifting problem, it's more of a delay. Shimano, you have the 2 click, 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 you're done. SRAM only has 1. So it's a long click for front D, short click for rear derailleur. So that's why they auto build delay. So it's not really a shifting problem, but it's more of a delay issue.
Because it's wireless, right?
Yes.
But now Shimano's new system is wireless as well, isn't it?
Oh no, it's because the number of shifters. So we only have 1.
Oh.
So we have to press and hold for front derailleur shift.
I see. Okay.
But for Shimano, they have both front and back.
Right. Okay. That answers the question, I guess. Why the SL7 over other bike choices?
Okay, so why the SL7 over other bike choices? Because a dealer I trust a lot offered this bike to me.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was using a TCR. I was very happy with my TCR. He just offered me an upgrade. And the cost to performance ratio, when I calculated all the additions, changing the wheel, changing the stem, changing the handlebar, it was around 10k already, 10, 11k. So I felt to myself, I mean, I'm supporting the dealer I support a lot. I've been with him for many years. If I can get the support from him, I buy a bike from him, there's really nothing to lose. So I kind of ended up this bicycle because it was the bicycle that's given to me. I didn't really go into it choosing any particular bike.
Alright, so support your dealer, I guess, since
Yeah,
you
it makes
him.
sense, yeah. I love my local dealer.
If your dealer were to shove you a Dogma F, will you have gotten it?
Dogma F.
I mean, of course, with the higher price point.
With 105.
Oh my god.
With 105.
You'll be the first one with a 105 on the Dogma F.
Because I don't have unlimited cash, but I do appreciate a Dogma frame. I mean, Pinarello makes awesome bicycles. But my bank account does not allow me to reasonably spend on a Dogma and an eTap system on a Di2. So I will compromise by saying, okay, Dogma, I'll just go 105.
Yeah. Actually, funny story, right? When I first got my Specialized SL6, T3 wanted to sell me, I think they were trying to clear stocks because at that time they knew the SL7 were coming. Of course, they didn't tell me, right? So they wanted to sell me the S-Works SL6 with the reddish color, I think. And then I told him my budget is only 5,000. The frame itself, I can't remember how much it cost. It was like 3,000-4,000, quite expensive. Just the frame.
Gosh.
And then I'm like, but I need to buy the Groupset, the wheels and everything.
Correct.
I'll just slap on aluminium wheels and buy 105. So, if I were to have gone with that deal, it would be an S-Works SL6 with aluminium wheels and Shimano 105. It would just look so weird, man.
It looks weird, but I think for a lot of people, because a lot of students, I mean, I was a student in the past. I still am a student in a sense, but yeah, a lot of us don't have the money to just splurge on one final end game. So to us, it's an upgrading game. So I think it may look weird, but I feel that it's a perfectly sensible choice because over time you upgrade, and that's part of the game also. You won't be stuck with the sensation of like once you end game everything, you'll be stuck wondering, what should I do next?
Yeah. Which I think actually that was T3's point when they were telling me, you buy the frame first and then you upgrade the
Slowly
parts
go up.
rather than you buy a Specialized and then you end up upgrading parts, it will cost more. But I mean, I wanted a bike that I know I could just start riding rather than alu wheels and stuff. So that's why I went with the Specialized. Your advice to my viewers who just start cycling, would you recommend them to, let's say they buy a entry-level bike, let's say a TCR, okay?
Okay.
Do you recommend, they want to up their game, do they start changing parts by parts or do they splurge all that money on a new bike with all the high-end parts?
It's a tough question because a lot of new cyclists coming in, they aren't really sure they want to be in this game for long. And the budget is also an issue. So if back then, okay, last year my budget was around 4,000, I went for a TCR Pro with 105. It's a Frankenstein build. But I saw it as a bike could upgrade over time, as evidenced by the fact that I wanted to slowly upgrade it to around 10k. So my advice would be, if budget is an issue and you know you want to be in this hobby for long, get the frame you want. Because the frame is the core of your bicycle. Get the frame you want. Be it a Factor, Dogma, TCR, Scott, whatever it is, get the frame you want, you aren't going to change. The group set, the wheels, all those can be improved over time. Get a cheap group set, 105, even micro shift, just go right. If you're fit, the group set only affects your shifting. It affects that 1 second of shifting, but if you pedal fast enough, you'll be overtaking me on Monday.
Which, I mean, buying the frame, I think is a very hard decision to make because you got to get it right. You're going to be spending so much on the frame. Even like for me, right, I when I started riding, people asked me to upgrade. I didn't spend on the frame alone, just like the example that I said earlier about T3, right? I would rather get a full
bike all in one ready to go, right?
Yeah, but then you compromise on a lower grade frame and everything. I guess it really depends on your
perspective.
Your perspective, how much you're willing to spend. Are you going to be in the game for long, right? But nobody can ever tell that, right? Once
hopefully, yeah.
So
I mean, I came to this knowing roughly where I was going already.
Yeah.
But most new cyclists probably not so.
Right. Next question is, heard this rider climbs like an absolute beast and is capable of dropping everyone.
I'm not sure where you heard that from, but I think I should POFMA wherever you heard that from. That is so fake news. The only thing I'm dropping right is my stomach, and I'm being dropped at the bottom of the hill. No, I'm dropping no one.
I hope I don't have to ever encounter you lah.
You will encounter me and I'm panting and dying behind you. That yes.
Next question is SL6 or SL7?
Okay. It's a very touchy question. For me, I will go SL7 because resale value, to be honest. It's because of the resale value. If you buy SL7, when the SL8 comes around, because you know Specialized will do that, it's easier to sell an SL7 because it was just last year's model. So it maintains the value for you to buy into your next bicycle. But if you are not the type of rider who says, I want the latest and greatest, I admit I'm kind of that rider also, SL6 will do fine. In fact, people find SL6 way more comfortable than SL7. It has its charms. And some people hate the integrated cabling on SL7. So it's a logical choice.
Right. Last two questions. This is an interesting question. Isn't the small chainring going to make it harder for you to stay at a higher average speed?
Stay at a higher average speed? Yes and no, because the small chainring may be a problem, but this makes up for it. So the gear ratio, in fact, when I went to calculate, is the same as most people's 2x11. The lowest end to the highest end is exactly the same. The biggest problem is actually the jump.
Right, which you explained earlier. Right?
Yeah, so that's the biggest problem for me.
Last question, everybody loves this question. Very high stack, why not slam?
Why very high stack, why not slam? Because the rider is not that flexible.
Would you recommend people to slam the stem?
Sorry?
Would you recommend people to slam stems?
I would recommend people get a bike fit first. And if your fitter recommends you to slam the stem, go for it.
Yeah.
And if the bike fitter doesn't, then don't.
Did you get a bike fit?
I got a bike fit.
With who?
A performance bike fitter.
Okay.
So I went to them after I swapped over from my TCR to this. So I thought if I'm going to spend this more money on a bicycle, I should make sure at least I enjoy my time on it.
So did the bike fit help you? Or were you already fitted, like you did your own DIY?
I did my own DIY, but when I went there, it was more of a refinement of it. I was roughly in the ballpark, but changes such as the 1 or 2 cm fore and aft of the saddle, 1 or 2 cm saddle height, and the angle, I think those helped quite a bit.
Okay.
And it helped me tell that, for example, they told me my core was rocking a lot.
Rocking? So could that be because the seat post was too high?
Yeah, so because of the seat post adjustment.
I had that issue. So there was one time I was at TMCR and my friend was taking a shot of me at the back. And I noticed that my seat bones were rocking, and you don't want that, right? It means that your body is trying to compensate for the height that is too high. That's why you are trying to tilt to reach the bottom. Luckily, I had a video there. I reduced my seat post.
The core isn't strong enough, so that's one possibility.
Yeah, and I know I'm going to get roasted again for saying that I'm not willing to spend on a bike fit. I mean, the cheap way is to ask your friend to video you, and then you go and see how your performance is. Last bonus question is, I just noticed you have a Wahoo heart rate monitor. I think this is a pretty new thing in the market.
Really?
Yeah, is it new? I don't know. I just saw my friend started recently using this, and you know, we all use the chest.
The chest one, yeah.
How is this, man? Why not the chest?
Why not the chest? I don't like the feeling of something about my chest.
But don't you feel like something is missing? Something is missing. Like you've been using that for so long.
I've never used the chest rate monitor before. Before this, I was using my Apple Watch as a heart rate monitor. So, but I kind of wanted something more plugged into my body, in a sense, something more adhered to, because the watch. Yeah, I recently lost about 12 kg after I started cycling. So this band that fit me last year, no longer fits. So my watch just swings around my arm when I cycle. So that's why I wanted to go for heart rate monitor on the arm, so that this will stay secured to my body.
Right.
And I didn't want the chest one. So the alternative was, I think, Polar, Wahoo, and this was apparently, according to reviews, the most comfortable one. So I went with this, got it second hand from Carousel.
Right.
Some guy sold it to me for cheap. Thanks. Thanks a lot.
That is it.
Yep.
I'm getting roasted by the sun. You are probably
Yes.
getting roasted by the sun as well. Any last things that you want to talk about the bike? If not, we are done.
I think just get a bike you like and just ride it. If you don't like it, sell it, buy a new one. I guess. Just enjoy cycling. I mean, there's no point being too hung up about your bike is slow, your bike is fast. Just go ride.
Yeah. That's true. Thank you so much, Aaron, for coming out today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to be on my channel, just DM me on Instagram. And thank you so much for watching. And thank you, Aaron.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me around.
No problem. Thank you.
There's no going back. You stepped across the